Okay, today we're riding on the Hennepin Canal in northern Illinois. This is just kind of an impromptu ride again, of course. Doesn't seem like I get much planned. I'm parked on Bridge 23, which is a boat ramp. Hopefully my truck's safe over there. Just outside of Anawan, Illinois. I'm staying at Johnson Sauk Campgrounds, which seems to be a pretty nice place. I'll try to get some footage of that when I get back over there. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna ride for a few hours, just out and back. A little different than what I normally do. And check this place out, do a little car camping. Got my grill and all that stuff ready to go when I get back to the campsite, so I'll get some footage of this place and maybe we'll talk about what it is. Alright. Okay. Right off the bat, we've got an aqueduct, which I know most of you guys probably know what that is, but basically a bridge for the water, for the canal to flow across. There's another creek that flows over here. But that was pretty quick we got to that. So, like I said, I wasn't planning on riding this week. I was actually going to go down to Edwardsville, Collinsville area, stay at Horseshoe Lake, and ride some of the Madison County trails. Maybe take my bike right over to the Arch, use Chain of Rocks Bridge, and all that. But I had to come up this way for something anyway, and I was an hour and a half from here, so I thought, well, I might as well come up here instead of turn around going back all the way down there. So here we are. I will let you guys know as we go. Coming up on a old iron bridge. Those always remind me of being a kid. There were a lot of those around when I was young. I don't see many. There's a few left around by me, but not a whole lot. The trail so far is in pretty good shape. I've seen a lot of things online that the I&M and the Hennepin both were not in great shape, but I think some people are pretty picky. I try not to be. I just like to get out here and ride and do some stuff and not make myself angry. Try to do the opposite of that. Seen a couple people fishing so far. Not sure how deep the canal is. I'm guessing not very. But maybe I can look that up when I get back to my campsite tonight. Give you a little better rundown of what is the history of this place. And over there is the Lot 23, I believe, campground. There's a lot of camping along this trail. Primitive camping, there's no electricity or water, of course, but if you're biking or hiking, plenty of places. And this is Lot 23 here. Pop up here and look at it. This is part of the Great American Rail Trail. So, if you are traveling, plenty of places for you to camp. Get off the bike here and take a look at the lock. Down here, of course, are the doors that would swing shut and raise and lower the water level. This gets boats, barges from the Illinois River to the Mississippi. Is what this, I believe, was designed for. But it's pretty cool this is still around. I think it officially closed, I think 1951. I'll have to look it up. You guys can correct me in the comments. Yeah, well, look at the difference in water level from here to here. I don't know, I find this stuff fascinating. Lived in Illinois my whole life, and until a few years ago didn't know we even had a canal trail or canals like this, since I don't live up north like up here. So very interesting. These old telegraph poles are pretty cool too. They're actually concrete with a wood cross member on top. Been there for a long time, standing the test of time, I guess. Quite a few of them along here. I can't remember if I mentioned this a while ago. I thought this trail was crushed limestone or gravel, but it is not. It is paved underneath. There's a light layer of rock on top of it. It's actually asphalt underneath. And the rail trail, kind of local to me, it's asphalt. It's not nearly as good a shape as this, really. You would assume there'd be a lot of root push-ups. I don't know if it's because the trees are pushed kind of back, but I'm pretty impressed with how smooth it is for the shape of the asphalt. If you're tall, unlike me, I'm not very tall, so these tunnels are low. You tall people are going to have to duck. Okay, now I can see why some people complain about this a little bit. It's pretty overgrown, even though it's, like I said, paved underneath. And you can see where it's been mowed not that long ago. And I'm guessing by the length of the dead grass that's on the ground, it was pretty dang tall whenever they mowed it. So yeah, this would suck right into some of these spots. It would be single track at best, with weeds, tall weeds, you know, right beside you. Yeah, this, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the grass is pretty tall. I know I said I don't like to complain, but I'm going to for just a second. And I will probably complain about this every single time I ride a trail. Now granted, this is a new adventure for me. I've never ridden this trail, so I like to take it all in. I have a good time. I'm by myself, probably smiling and snickering like a fool sometimes, but that's okay. But if you're riding your bike and you're so miserable and grumpy that you can't even smile and say hi, maybe you should find a different hobby. That's just the way I feel. You should be happy when you're riding your bike. That's why I ride a bike. I don't ride it for exercise, not necessarily. I ride it because I enjoy riding my bike. So, hopefully that's my only complaint and rant of the day. Thanks. Looks like bridge 45 maybe, or 24. I was looking at that backwards. Sorry, I'm always clearing my throat. This is a pretty nice little area here. I'm assuming you can camp over on the other side. I'm not sure what lock number this is. Hikers, bikers, Geneseo is 0.5 miles that way. Still not sure what lock number this is. There's my Trek FX3 that I ride on my little touring bike. If you guys would like to see a video on how I got that set up, because it's not exactly a touring bike, but I'll make it work. Now this lock is it's much deeper than the other one. Very nice. Okay, this is the Geneseo Creek underneath us here. There's not much of a creek, but to keep the water flow good here, you can see here's our aqueduct. It's kind of like a overpass, I guess, for the water. It's kind of an engineering marvel, really, when you stop and think about this. When this was made, I don't know if it was the late 1800s, early 19, I'm not sure exactly when they started building this thing. I think by 51 or something it was completely closed. I believe I read somewhere that it's made more money as a recreational place, you know, for fishing and boating and cycling and whatever else than it ever made as a canal. But I'm impressed by simple things, I guess. The amount of labor and engineering and ingenuity that went into this is pretty cool. Up here, just because I made a loop and I had to come back to show you guys, Bridge 39. Come up here, private driveway, there's a road, and you're gonna turn back south, go across the canal, and back onto the trail. So now we're riding the opposite side of the canal. Not that you wouldn't see that, because it's pretty obvious when you come up on the top of that hill, but I figured I'd show you anyway. I'm not sure what lock number this is, but here's a drawbridge. You can see the gears here. Raises up this whole platform, a big giant chain. If you look across here, it'd probably be easier to show you that. You can see the pulleys the chain runs on. Pretty dang cool. I know I say that a lot. This is built in 1904, it says, but that is pretty interesting. You can see the remnants of an old lock right there. Then it's capped off on the end on both sides for an aqueduct, which is unfortunate because that would be a really large aqueduct going over the Green River here. Most of the aqueducts I've seen haven't been that big, but this one here would be pretty cool. I'll have to look online and see if I can maybe find some old pictures of it or something. I bet it was nice, pretty neat looking. Okay, coming up here on the end of the trail in Kelowna. Road probably a little farther than I was planning on riding today, but I was so close to the end, I just couldn't see turning around. There's another lock there. I'm not sure. I guess that's the Mississippi River, I guess. I'll have to get my map out and look. There's a river anyway. And this is the end of the trail, so now I gotta turn around and head back to my truck, get my grill fired up and get myself something to eat. I'm getting a little hungry. That's the nice thing about doing car camping, is I have my grill and food to cook and coolers with drinks in them. Looking forward to it. Nice September day, should be good. All right, I had to get my map out. So I knew that couldn't be the Mississippi, not yet. But here's the end of the canal. It's dumping into the Fox River, not the Mississippi, so feel free to make fun of my geography in the comments. And I'm gonna have me a little snack here and head back. Hopefully I can catch a tailwind instead of a headwind, but with my luck it usually changes. Nice little fella there. A couple years, he'll be a nice buck. Day 2 of riding the Hennepin Canal, or Hennepin Canal Trail. Today I put in, like I'm riding a boat here or something. I want to start the trail at the Visitor Center in Sheffield. And FYI, it is only open during the week. I came through here yesterday just to check, to look at it because I was driving past. So it is only open during the week. It is closed on weekends. So just be aware. So we're going to get started. Okay, we're just leaving the Visitor Center. There's the canal there on my right. We've got a bridge coming up here, an old iron bridge. This trail surface is almost like more sandy clay, I guess. I don't know. It's much different than yesterday's, and it may change. I don't really know for sure, but it's pretty smooth. Nice and shaded right now. Starting to warm up a little bit. It's pretty cool this morning. I think overnight it was about 43, 44 degrees just while I was camping at Johnson Sauk, which again is a very nice campground. It's almost empty. It's late in the year. Today's Monday, so everybody was already gone anyway, leaving yesterday when I got there. There's the old bridge there. Looks like I get to cross it maybe. One-handed here. Hold my phone. Just about wiped out on that little washout. All right. You can see this bridge surface. Not the best. I know we're just riding bicycles here, but it's just sheets of plywood over the bridge surface. Pretty rotted out pieces of plywood at that. All bowed and coming apart, but it works. Well, we're back on that kind of paved / gravel road. Some nice big cottonwood trees there. Oh man, got windy all of a sudden. It hasn't been like this all weekend. Hope it doesn't stay that way. I could do without a headwind. Pretty wore out from riding yesterday. I did 55 miles. 57, I don't remember, whatever it is, from Bridge 23 to the end of the trail and back. But a little bit of some side adventures, I guess, but not much of that. But I'm not really in the best of riding shape right now. Had some health problems early in the early spring there, late winter. So I've not done a whole lot of exercising or riding up until a week ago was or 2 weeks ago was my longest ride of the year at 45 miles. And that was about all I wanted, honestly. By the time I got home, I was pretty wore out. Most of my rides have been 10 to 12 miles, and there's not really been a whole lot of that. So I'm gonna try to get at least 45 today, I think. I think that's about what it is from the visitor center to Bureau Junction, which is the eastern end of the trail. So I'm gonna get off here, do some riding, try to enjoy myself a little bit. I'm gonna pan you around slow here. This is the opposite side of the trail. Won't be long, they'll be picking these beans. So. All right, I'm gonna go for now. Well, I'm turning around going back towards the visitor center. Went the wrong direction. I was noticing the sun just didn't seem right to me. And so I had to stop and try to figure this out. And I was going the wrong direction. I was headed west, which I was gonna head a little bit west at the end of my ride if I felt like it. But I want to go to the end here is my goal today, so I can see both ends of the trail tomorrow. I'm gonna head home tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll ride the trail or I may just kind of ride my bike around the Johnson Sock Trail State Park or Recreation Center, whatever you call it, center. But may ride around there. It's a pretty nice place. Anyway, put a few miles in there and then maybe head home after I relax a little bit in the morning. Enjoy this cool weather. So once I get going here again, we'll get some more footage of some locks and whatnot. I should have stopped yesterday and got a look at these for you guys. That's the telegraph lines or telephone lines or power lines or whatever they were. But that's a concrete post with a wood cross member. There's a few of them along the trail. That's pretty cool looking. And then back here, I thought I was recording and apparently I don't believe I was, but there's a railroad bridge there, old iron bridge. Like I said, some of my favorites. So that's it. All right, I don't know how much more video I'm gonna get for you guys. I'm gonna just take pictures, try to. Thought I had more storage again. I deleted a bunch of stuff. Didn't work out. I lost a bunch of footage of some things earlier, so the end of this video is just gonna be pictures. Maybe I'll try to figure out how I can talk over the top of that and describe some things to you. So sorry about that. Maybe one of these days I'll figure all this stuff out. Thanks. Okay, I tried to make this part just a minute ago, about got ran over. It's the middle of harvest season and a lot of tractors and semis on the road, and there was actually a lawnmower stuck in a ditch. I had to help with that. So interesting little ride here. Anyway, this is a kind of a recap of the Hennepin Canal. As you know, I've lost a bunch of footage and didn't get a lot of things filmed, so here's kind of my little recap. I liked the trail. It's not the smoothest trail. There's some spots that are pretty bad. I was riding, I'm on 38, 700 by 38 tires. They were fine. I don't think I'd want to ride road bike tires on it necessarily. I mean, I would if that's all I had, but I think it'd be pretty rough. There's not a lot of services on the trail. You have to get off the trail, go into town. But there are campgrounds. So if you're riding the Great American Rail Trail, plenty of places to camp. Most of the locks you can camp at, or several of the locks anyway. Those were all decent, but they're pit toilet, no water. So, you know, just be prepared for that. But the trail, all in all, I rode east to west, or parked in the middle, did it out and back, to both ends. And it wasn't bad. I didn't ride the feeder trail. I imagine it very similar. I just didn't have time to do it. There's some spots that are pretty, like I said, are pretty rough. There was one particular tunnel that was towards the eastern end that if you came into it fast, you would be in a lot of trouble. It was rough, big holes and hills. I think you'd probably come off your bike. Looks like I'm about to get run over by a semi here. But the trail could use some maintenance, but I wouldn't want to discourage you from riding it. I enjoyed it. I'd ride it again, especially if I ever do the Great American Rail Trail. But well, as you can see, I'm about to get dusted out here, so I'm gonna get off the road and get this video posted up. Thanks. Okay, I survived that close encounter with a semi truck there, but again, I would ride the trail again. I didn't camp on the trail. I camped at Johnson Sauk and then just drove over to was it Anawan. There was a bridge over there. I camped at it, or didn't camp at it, but I parked there and then just rode from there. So let me know what you think, if you got any comments or anything I missed, and appreciate you watching. Thanks.